What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Lex, and today we're going to be checking out the new trailer for the PlayStation 5 Pro. This has kind of been rumored for the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. So for them to finally, Sony to come out and actually explain to us what's going to be happening with the system, pricing, timing, what's the specs of the system, the graphical performance, we're going to get all that in this video. So without further ado, let's just get into it.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk
Who's
about
this
the
guy? I've
newest
never seen
addition
him
to our
before.
console
Never.
lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology.
How many years has it been since the original PlayStation 5 came out? I cannot remember exactly, but it hasn't been too long, right? Or maybe it has, because time does fly pretty quickly these days.
But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience.
The PlayStation is definitely one of my favorite consoles ever. The PS5. It has to be.
When PS5 debuted in 2020,
2020, so it's been 4
to
years.
the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5.
Man, the fact that God of War had this resurgence, had this level of like mature, grown up like take of the series is always freaking fascinating with me. God of War 2018 is definitely one of those top games of my entire life, my top 10 games of all time. It's such a good game. Ragnarok was pretty good as well, and for the PlayStation 5, it was just like spectacular on the system.
Enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds, and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to...
See, that's the thing with the PlayStation 5, like, on my 4K TV, I'm playing it on usually performance mode, and on performance mode, the game still looks fantastic. Like, it plays well, it looks great on the TV, especially like when you play games like Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man, any of those games, and you turn on the performance mode, the graphics still look amazing. Even if you're using the graphics settings, I mean, it boosts up the graphics, but still, it's still a freaking powerful console in my opinion. I really enjoy the original PlayStation 5, but man, yeah, it's a really, really good console.
Fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism
the ray
that comes
tracing is
from
also
real-time
amazing.
global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions
I play
between
this game as
worlds.
well. By the way, that's one of the most things that I've utilized for the PlayStation 5 is able to jump from app to app to app. Like that was really good. Sometimes I leave my system on, what's it called, that yellow version, the sleep mode. And man, it's just so quick, it's so snappy. That's one of my favorite things that you kind of don't realize the quality of life, where it just kind of, it's very snappy. You get to the game quickly, you get to different apps quickly. I really like enjoyed that part of it. Another thing I want to talk about is the ray tracing. Ray tracing is also really good. One of the things that one of the games that I actually have in my library currently that implements that is Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls looks super fantastic on the freaking 4K monitor, 4K TV. Just the freaking graphical performance on that game is just like really awesome.
And data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man was one of those games also that utilized that fast travel, like you jump in and immediately get into the thing. PlayStation is just amazing. I'm working on
it! Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are.
But I don't have that headset currently.
Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game.
Man, I'm blazing the PlayStation.
It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance.
Really?
The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players.
It's not at all for me. I'm going performance
Fidelity
mode
modes
100%
emphasize the
of the
visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering.
I'm not
These
much of a
modes might
graphical.
also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppy,
30 frames per
and the
second,
controls
and the
less
game still looks
responsive.
beautiful.
Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity. typically choosing to run 60 frames per second.
That's my preferred playstyle there.
Mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved.
I feel like there is a level of grain with it. Like if once you go performance modes, it's like a grain filter. I don't know what it is. I guess it is lowering the graphic fidelity, but still, like it does. There is a significant decline of graphics.
When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
Yeah.
Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer.
So they kind of want to have it like balanced here.
PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call
now
the
that
big
makes
3.
sense.
First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster.
Oh, damn.
Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. We're gonna have to see that in PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super
smooth. Are they going to be running at 4K 120 or 4K? Oh, I guess he's talking about because when you put it on graphics mode, it's 4K 30 frames per second, but it's going to be 4K 60 frames per second now. So, okay, I see where they're trying to go with the PlayStation now. They really want to buff it up a little bit and give people more of a balanced, like high quality, high performance, high graphic, everything on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I mean, dude, but come on, dude. Personally, for me, I'm okay with with what I got right now. I don't necessarily am like a graphic whore. I'm not a freaking frame whore either. Like everything looks amazing on it. Now, that being said, I haven't experienced the PlayStation 5 Pro in hand or have seen it in person. So that could, be subject to change. So, I mean, who knows, man? Maybe in hand, it's going to be a whole different experience. It's going to be telling when you do it in real person side-by-side view.
60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
That was definitely choppier there.
This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling.
Yeah, okay, so there is a significant difference here. Let me rephrase that. It's not significant, but there is a difference here where you could definitely tell the image is a little bit more blurry versus this one that's a little bit more crisp and you can kind of see the lines of the character. I wonder if this has to do with the frame rate and kind of also the upscaling and everything. So there is a difference here, but is it a big difference? Is it enough for people to want to buy it?
Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer.
Yeah, but who cares
here,
about
we
that?
can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars.
Man, it just
so overall, some remarkable
I'm okay with what I
games.
have.
On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big 3 showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects.
Most games look beautiful though on the PlayStation. Most games.
as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Oh yeah, I remember this one being like really like graphically like looking amazing as well.
Dwarf's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections
really
between
played,
the cars
racing
in
games.
gameplay,
I've never been a
while
racing
continuing
game
to
fan.
support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing
But I would see that like maybe this is where it also comes into play.
is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most
Dude, who is
powerful
this guy?
console we've
What the
ever
hell?
built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family.
Freaking Dana Carvey.
Let me
whatever.
wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never
Oh, here we go.
cause they don't know what I love.
The new PlayStation 5 Pro.
Don't let me hang it.
Of course, you're gonna get Spider-Man 2 on there. Oh, that looked awesome. Final Fantasy is also a very beautiful game. It's also a very beautiful game. Horizon. Not really been a big fan of Horizon.
It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Demon Souls. I haven't done this one. I've been playing a little bit of it, although it looks crazy. It looks cool. Alan Wake, sleeper hit. Sleeper hit. No one really talked about it too much. I still need to finish Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, what's this one? I haven't seen that one. PS5 Pro. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Okay, so this is one of the big things that were being talked about as well, is the price point of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, we all knew coming into this that it was definitely going to be an up in the price. But up in the price like this, 700 buckaroos, especially in today's economy, is insane. That's why I have to really, especially like someone like me, you know, who make sure they count kind of pennies and make sure they count, you know, where the money is going. And it doesn't really have the luxury at the moment to, you know, have these expensive. If I wanted to, you know, we could get to a point where I could buy something like this, but you also got to make sure, like, in comparison to things that you're getting, right? What I mean by that is that, like, would I get a PS5 Pro, or would I also get something like the Steam Deck that I've been wanting as well? So I always got to, you know, make sure I'm weighing my options here. So I feel like the PlayStation 5 Pro is for somebody who's an enthusiast of gaming, who's an enthusiast of PlayStation at the moment. The graphic and the whole AI upscaling and the whole performance thing, you could definitely see that they have upgraded it and done the big three, as you mentioned. They really trying to implement that. And I just feel like currently that isn't something that I would want for myself. I feel like a lot of other people might have seen that as well, and also looking at the price point was kind of a shock to everybody. I just feel like maybe right now it isn't something that I really need to get, what I need to also experience. Like, I'm okay with my 4K 30 frames per second. I'm okay with downscaling the graphics and up boosting the performance. I like the choice of doing that. I don't mind it. And also the PlayStation 5 is very snappy. You could do it at the settings, the beginning of a game. I really enjoy the PlayStation 5, you know, in general. Like, I really enjoy, you know, what I have currently. I don't really see myself upgrading anytime soon at all. I just don't really can justify the price point here personally for myself. Now, if you're an enthusiast, you got the cash to spare, I can see you're gonna, you know, be on this immediately. I also hear that they're not gonna be coming with a stand, and it's not gonna be coming out with a disc. So these are things that you're going to be having to go get yourself. I think PlayStation wants to start moving to a more digital, format, especially since kind of the whole market I feel is going that way anyways. They want to go out with physical copies. For me personally, I love the physical copies. I love, collecting them all. I don't mind digital. Digital has always been awesome. Remember, one of the key points that I really love about the PlayStation is that its snappiness. So for me to go from game to game or app to app is one of the biggest things that I've enjoyed, and I found myself like kind of realizing over time, it's like, wow, this is actually really, really satisfying to use. Also, one of my gripes of the PlayStation currently, I have, I think day one PlayStation, is that it still gets very hot sometimes. The fan kind of gets loud at times too, if I'm playing too many things or if I'm playing a more intensive game. So I always have to be careful with that. I feel like sometimes the controllers are super expensive. I've dropped my controller a few times and it broke, and I had to put up $75 for the thing. So everything is about money. This economy is pretty crazy at the moment. So you really gotta. PlayStation's really trying to hit a market that's not necessarily for me. But I would love to know if it's a market for yourself. If it's something that you want to get yourself. Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.